It is incredibly disappointing that we are a full year into coronavirus and we still cannot socialize normally. And a lot of people thought that the end was in sight 2 months ago, when the vaccines were approved. But if you've been having a hard time getting a coronavirus vaccine, congratulations again on being basic. Because it turns out there are millions of Americans in the same boat.
Here in the U.S., injection plans are entangled in red tape, a confusing patchwork of eligibility rules and poor communications.
The country's war against coronavirus waged as 50 separate battles, each state now with its own vaccination strategy.
Local and state officials say the real problem is supply. Governors angry that reserve doses promised by the federal government are unavailable.
They were lying. They don't have any doses held back.
Unpredictable allocations are causing delays and confusion across the country.
At its current pace, California won't vaccinate even half its residents until Thanksgiving.
New York's vaccine supply crisis, that's escalating too. The opening of sites at Citi Field, at Yankee Stadium, Staten Island's Empire Outlets, that's now all on hold because of the shortage.
In West Virginia, 25,000 extra vaccine doses never showed up.
If you can buy a vape pen on every corner in Los Angeles, you should be able to get a vaccine, frankly, in every gas station.
Yeah, you know what? That doctor is 100% right. Gas stations should offer vaccines. And not just for corona. They should give you a vaccine for everything you pick up from that bathroom key. But I don't know that this is really a surprise, guys. I mean, we should have seen this coming back when Popeyes ran out of chicken. If America can't handle sandwich distribution, what chance do they have with a vaccine? So look, there was no way that the vaccine rollout was going to go smoothly. I mean, everything with COVID has been a horror movie. Why would the end of the horror movie be any different? If a killer spent 90 minutes stabbing people, he's not going to suddenly come out in the final scene like, I just realized something. What I really need to kill are my insecurities. So, the federal government is having trouble getting vaccine doses to the states, and states are having trouble getting them to healthcare providers. But even once vaccines are available, people who need them are having way too hard a time getting to them.
If you have been able to get a COVID vaccine, maybe you should go play the Powerball because you are extremely lucky. That's because around the country, people are trying to get the shot and are being met with crashing websites, long lines, canceled appointments, and shortages.
In Houston, a call center for making vaccine appointments crashed. At one point, it received about 250,000 calls for only 750 available slots.
One big concern, that making an appointment depends too much on technology. Research shows only 60% of those 75 and older use the internet.
I feel like I'm in a maze with no open doors.
From Texas to Tennessee to Florida, people waiting in lines for hours for a shot.
In Daytona, Florida, some senior citizens spent the night in their cars.
This is the most insane thing. No porta potties, and there are 3 people working the entire line.
We're not teenagers. We're talking about 75 and seniors.
No, guys, this is unacceptable. The only time a senior citizen should be in a car for 9 hours is when they're trying to make a left turn in front of you, and that's it. And I feel bad for a lot of old people because they can't figure out how to make appointments on these complicated websites, which means it's going to be super awkward for some of them because they're going to have to get back in touch with their estranged children. Hello, my son. I've decided to accept you for who you are. Yeah, I know. Now bring your gay laptop over here and help me make a vaccine appointment. And what makes all of this even more frustrating is while most vaccination sites don't have enough doses, it turns out there are some that have too many.
Wasting valuable vaccine doses, it is a problem that understandably has officials concerned.
In some places across the country, leftover doses have been thrown out, doses that could have been given to anyone wishing to get vaccinated, but not yet eligible to get the shot because they don't fit the demographic criteria.
Healthcare workers here in Massachusetts were just forced to throw doses out. That's because people aren't showing up for their appointments and the vaccine is going bad.
Regular guy David McMillan randomly got a Moderna shot at a D.C. grocery store when first responders missed their appointment.
A healthy 26-year-old was in a Brooklyn clinic for a coronavirus test and was told there was 1 vaccine dose left for anyone who wanted it.
There was no one there. I mean, they were about to close the clinic for the day. It was my arm or the garbage.
This is wild, people. You've got 75-year-olds waiting overnight in their cars, And then you've got 26-year-olds stumbling into a vaccine because someone missed their appointment, which, by the way, raises the question, who is missing an appointment for a COVID vaccine? What else are these people doing? Are there really people out there who are like,
I mean, sure, I have a vaccine appointment at 3 p.m., but I also have this cat birthday party I'm supposed to go to, so...
And look, I don't mean to be a hater, but could the scientists not make vaccines that don't go bad this fast? I mean, it's the most advanced technology on Earth, but then at the same time, they age like avocados? Hey, I just cut open an avocado. Would you like some? You know what? Too late, it's rotten now. Now, it may not surprise you that the problems with the vaccine rollout are not affecting everyone equally. It's a basic fact of life that people with money can too often jump to the head of the line. And it turns out COVID vaccines are no different.
It's been difficult for a lot of people to get a vaccine because of the shortage in doses. So some are getting desperate, trying to find the vaccine on the black market.
Doctors in Los Angeles are being offered up to $25,000 in exchange for early access to the vaccine.
This cybersecurity expert uncovered these ads on the dark web. COVID vaccines available. This one for $500. This one $1,000, even offering overnight delivery.
Some wealthy and well-connected people are trying to cut the line. In Florida, officials are investigating reports that a luxury assisted living facility offered and vaccinated its board members and wealthy donors out of turn.
Since Florida does not require people seeking vaccines to be U.S. citizens or even Florida residents, it's led to some visitors coming from abroad to get vaccinated. Critics call it vaccine tourism.
There is evidence a dozen wealthy Argentinians traveled to Miami to get their shots. One Argentine TV personality posted video on Instagram showing her elderly mother getting vaccinated.
Oh man, this is not where America wants to be. It's so poorly run that people from other countries are just waltzing in, plundering its resources, and leaving. Ha ha! Not so much fun when it happens to you, Senor Bitch. But look, I'm not surprised that the wealthy are finding a way to game the system. I will say, I'm not really sure that these people should be trusting a black market vaccine that they found on the dark web. Thank you so much. Wait, hold on. Is vaccine supposed to be spelt with a K? Hey, do you want vaccine or not? So, there's no denying that the vaccine distribution is going badly for a whole host of reasons. But it does not have to be this way. Because America has a history of mass vaccination programs, and it turns out they've been pretty successful in the past.
For centuries, the smallpox virus ravaged the globe. So when a new outbreak hit New York in April of 1947, city officials launched an urgent offensive, vaccinating more than 6 million people in less than a month. Vaccination stations were set up in all municipal hospitals and clinics, every police precinct station house, and in private factories and offices.
The idea that you could vaccinate 6 million people in that short period of time is stunning. It's an absolute public health triumph that they were able to do this. They saved thousands of lives. At the current time, probably the government doesn't have the kind of public health infrastructure that they would need to be able to do this.
Okay, honestly, guys, that is a little embarrassing. America can barely get its vaccination program off the ground, but in 1947, New York managed to vaccinate 6 million people in a month. And sure, it was easier to vaccinate 6 million people back then. There wasn't shit else to do, you know? There was radio and like 3 TV channels. Getting stabbed with a needle was the most exciting thing you could do with your day. But the point is that America had the infrastructure and the healthcare system to handle such a huge task. Although, it was 1947, so that means everything still had cocaine in it. Hey, you want a vaccine? Boom, 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 boom. Who needs a vaccine? Everybody got a vaccine? All right, I'm gonna go grab more of those sodas that make me happy. And while it might be depressing to see that things are worse now than they were 70 years ago, it also shows you what America is capable of when it rises to the challenge. So America, I say to you now, let's learn from the past. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna travel back in time to the 1940s when things were better with vaccinations and pick up some pointers. They called me the N-word.